What's up? What's up? What's up? Greetings from the other side of the camera. So I think it's been about a month since I've uploaded, and it's for a good reason. I want to talk about why I stopped posting, what the real shift was for me, and the directions of the channel, the problems I had with my old posts, um, and why I'm still gonna keep them up. So I might delete a couple, but for the most part, I'm probably gonna keep them up. So the first issue I have on the table for kind of, I guess, really the first reason why I stopped uploading was school. Definitely got busy. I remember coming back from midwinter break, and I'd missed the day prior to that because I was out of town, and I had like a lot of work to catch up on just from that day. And it kind of took me the whole week to get back on track from missing that day, which sucked. I just didn't post. I didn't think about posting. I think I posted that Monday because we had that day off, but it just wasn't in my headspace to be like, I need to script some videos. I need to post. That wasn't really set to happen. Um, and then the more I thought about it, kind of reconsidering what I had been posting, I think to an extent it came off as a LARP. If you don't know what a LARP is, it's just you've heard it. You probably have. It's just live action role play, which basically now means it's just kind of a slang for like being somebody you're not, right? And I don't want to say I wasn't being authentic because these were things I wanted to share for sure. Like it was stuff that I felt, but I think the way I presented myself on the videos kind of was just very. It was LARPy. It could come off as that. And I found out, kind of through this past month, I don't want to say it like it's been a month of self discovery, but to an extent, it kind of has been. Kind of been looking at things from a different angle compared to before. Not to say I've given up what I've been doing, but yeah, just questioning where my values lie. And is being this guy who comes on and rages against the machine for 30 minutes on each video. Is that really who I am? And not only that, but is that really the content that will provide the most insight and the best, um, giving the best value to you guys? I don't really think so. I didn't want to fall into this category of the Orthobro LARPer, which is what I was honestly just doing, right? Coming clean, really. No, but it's not like I ever said or affirmed that I am Orthodox. I've been baptized in the Orthodox Church. I've said multiple times that I'm interested, but then to run off with it and make it really the center of your channel, well, you're kind of just LARPing it. And that was for me how it was, bro. I haven't, I haven't even read really any of the church fathers yet. So for me to go out and be making these wild videos, I'm like, yeah, this is how you pray, read scripture, and fast. That's bad. That video is probably going down, to be honest, because like I have no authority to teach that type of stuff. That's up to a priest, a bishop, um, an adult, a layman, even, right? Or not a layman, but even like a catechumen probably has more. insight and authority to teach than I do, to be quite honest. So I'm just kind of gonna leave that stuff at the wayside. Another thing that's also kind of going down is questioning the validity of Eastern Orthodoxy. This is a big one I didn't want to talk about on my last video. My last video, I think, was the goals one. That was the last video I had recorded. That's the second last video that's like uploaded chronologically. I wanted to talk about that, but I kind of shoved it at the wayside because that was what my channel was about. I didn't want to just switch things up off the rip, but I don't know, been questioning the validity of the religion, not Christianity. I still believe in the triune God as Father, Son, Holy Spirit. I still believe in the death, burial, resurrection, and the virgin birth. Like, I don't deny the core fundamentals of Christianity, but I am interested in kind of the different belief systems, the different denominations, if you will. I put that in quotes because I'm just looking more into how did the early church do things? And going off of that, that's how we should do things now. In my, honest opinion, I think that's kind of what scholars look at in general. And obviously there's organic evolution throughout the church where like things naturally shifted just kind of throughout time. You just take that into account. But even then, you have to look at the papacy. I'm not saying I'm going to become Catholic, but that did come about earlier than the schism did. Right? Like the Pope thing in general, it was around prior to 1054. That's a, hot take in Orthodox circles, but from what I've seen, and I can't really speak on this, that's just the way I look at it. Not only that, even just bigger issues like infant baptism. I don't know. So I'm really looking into stuff from a very much more unbiased perspective. And so I don't really feel like, as of right now, I have authority to teach on Christianity. I don't. Straight up, I don't. So for that reason, I'm not going to. That's out of my wheelhouse as of current. And I feel like I was kind of getting to the point where I was making like an Orthobro content farm. And I don't know, it was just kind of interesting where I was getting to, where like the videos I planned on posting afterwards, I felt like it was just getting to this point of like pure LARP. And that's really where it circles back to for me. I wasn't being honestly me. I still wanted to share these things, like I said, but it was sort of a facade in order to be different, branch myself out from the rest, be my own mold. That's fine. Of course, that's fine. Obviously, be you, be the best version of yourself. And everybody's going to be different. I'm not saying you need to like completely stamp yourself to a certain denomination of people, but being an ortho bro is stamping yourself to a certain denomination of people. And I try to deny the fact that I wasn't, but it was obvious through the way I was living. I kind of was. I had this not very, I had a sort of small superiority complex because of my belief systems, as if I was some kind of intelligent, super intelligent being who had divine revelation from a denomination that's been around for, over a millennium, 2 millenniums, you could argue for, really. And that's insane. I think, not to say I was going around like being a Jay Dyer, if you know who Jay Dyer is, he's very smart. Yeah, he's Orthodox. He's very smart, but he can also just be a rude guy on like in the debates, and it's just kind of like, And I did have that sort of smug persona, not to a full extent where I was like just being rude to everyone I met if they weren't like Orthodox. No, but it was this "I'm better than you" complex. I exuded to an extent. Like I said, it never really got to the point of, in my opinion, narcissism, but pride creeped in for sure. Alongside me going to states for powerlifting, and those two things really coinciding definitely gave me a little bit of an ego I shouldn't have had, right? And like it's not wrong to be confident in your beliefs, what you believe in, but it's wrong when you only hear what you want to hear, right? That's where it gets to a point. And now I kind of want to get into what's next for the channel. Um, I don't really know what's next for the channel. I'm gonna post what I want to post because there's been cool stuff. Like I wanted to do a YouTube channel for years, like years, dude. And there's cool stuff I've wanted to post that doesn't really fit in to the niche I've sort of aligned myself with. I'm gonna just post cool stuff. I'm trying to get in more to like gym content, so maybe posting some lifts. I think that'd be a valid move. Not only that, but giving some guidance on the gym. Not being like, I think that'd be a good place to go because that's something I really, really find interesting and something I've educated myself on for, mm, I would say, about 2.5 years, and not really like studying it all in, but something I've always been interested in, something I've always looked into, something I've actually found fun and enjoyable in my life. That I do feel I actually have a good education on, I have good knowledge on. So gym content, I think, would actually be a valid move. Um, and there's going to be some videos where I'm going to share my thoughts on topics. I'm probably going to stay out of the religious, niche for a little while till I'm older, honestly. Um, Not to say I'm going to suppress my Christianity. That's not to say that, right? Like, God will be mentioned and praised somehow in every video, right? That's a non-negotiable because at the end of the day, I think our goals as Christians is to spread the gospel, spread the good news. So, incorporating him, of course, is going to be a fundamental part. It's not going to be so much in your face, you need to convert. That's not how you're going to attract people. But it's just going to be the subtle stuff. And I think that's kind of the way to go. And I'll make videos too, maybe on like, I've been feeling like this about my relationship with God. Like maybe something like that. I don't know how much I want to get into that. I think that's more of a personal thing, especially right now. I do want to start out a series because I do like to read. That's one thing I actually do truly enjoy, where I kind of review a book and I don't know what to call it. I've thought about like the intellectual meathead. I don't know, something funny. Uh, but yeah, just go over a book, go over a certain chapter of a book, things I found insightful, things I found interesting. Because that's one thing I think, like, if you read a book, you can provide the key points to others. I think that's valid. And hopefully you guys are able to actually apply that. Um, but I don't know. I think the gym stuff is what I want to get into. Uploading, I can do once a week. I can promise y'all once a week upload. Um, and outside of that, there's gonna be cool stuff too that I kind of want to get into. More like artsy, I guess, type of videos. Where I don't know. I've had this idea. I'll just share it. Mm, I don't know. I have a very vivid image in my mind. It's hard to articulate. Yeah, me playing like basketball, skateboarding, or something like that. And in between, I'll just have some cool insight. I don't know. Um, I don't necessarily know how to put it, but just cool stuff, providing valuable insight, providing art to an extent to the masses. Um, might be a while before I really get into that. Like summertime, yeah, we're gonna be out here doing that. Um, but yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Not gonna be LARPing anymore. Gym content would be cool. That's something I actually want to get into. But yeah, that's gonna wrap this one up. And as always, God bless.